Nettie's hands are steady, but her eyes are tired. Healing takes its toll, and tucked behind her work, she keeps this, a quiet vault of tablets and old words. I won't take them, not from a healer trying to keep this grove alive, but I will read.
Again. Swing and swing.
By Mordai's eyes, another one. My friend's blood not enough. Come to rip me open too.
In Kresh Kalir, a formal greeting begins with a bow.
Is this monster with you?
Hold it, Lae'zel. I'll see to this one.
You dare interrupt? Has the tadpole ravaged your senses?
Enough. Stand down. I won't tell you again.
Kichoki. Fine.
Now, you. Tell me where you saw the Gith.
On the road to Baldur's Gate, near the mountain pass. Saw us, for we saw it. Jammed its blade through Yul's belly, straight to the other side. And I just ran.
The map. Show me.
All right, Lae'zel. You got what you needed.
Yes. Your mediocre interrogation technique notwithstanding. The last time a subordinate questioned my judgment, I ate tongue stew that very night.
I warned you, didn't I? You ought to reconsider keeping her around before she causes real trouble.
Lae'zel, if you finish scowling at me, what comes next?
The tiefling was clear. If there are Githyanki west of here, that must be our objective. Purification cannot wait.
What do you mean? Purification?
The Kresh holds the Zaithisk. It will cleanse us of the parasite. By covenant, I can say no more.
Very well. Let's carry on. We got what we could out of Zoru. Enough to point us toward the Githyanki and their purification. Lae'zel says it like it's a certainty, a process, a clean solution. But I heard the way she described it. I saw the conviction in her eyes, and I don't like what that kind of conviction does to people. I'm not going to challenge her. Not here. Not in front of the others. I'll let her believe I'm aligned. But I'm not placing our lives or our minds in the hands of a clan I don't understand. So I do what a commander does when the room gets loud. I step away. I gather intelligence. I secure a second opinion. Nettie, the assistant healer. If there's another path to cut this thing out of our skulls, I'll find it.
Ugh. I'm never gonna hear the end of this. If I'd got that stupid idol, I'd be a hero.
No, young lady. You'd be a thief.
A heroic thief? Mum? Dad? Mole? They all would have been so impressed. Mole said we had to do something, because the old folks weren't doing anything. They were talking when the druids were getting ready to throw us out. Why can't we just stay in until it's safe?
On the way to Nettie, I catch sight of Arabella. Small shoulders, big consequences. She's trying to convince herself she'd be better off if the theft had worked. That she'd be somebody if she'd gotten away with it. I tell her the truth. Clean. Success wouldn't make her brave. It would make her a thief. But she doesn't hear thief. She hears respect. She hears the name that keeps coming up. Maul. The children have their own politics here. The old ones talk. The young ones watch the walls closing in. And Maul is selling them what fear always buys. Action. Arabella says the adults are doing nothing. That if the tieflings don't move first, they'll be thrown out. I don't argue with her, because she's not wrong about the danger. Only about the solution. Nettie first. Answers first. Then I'll gather the party, and I'll go meet this Maul.
They did a number on you, didn't they? Does that hurt? I know. We're nearly done. I see you. Just give me a moment.
Vis medicatrix.
There. It's up to her now. Life or death. Now, what was it you needed?
I'm looking for Nettie.
You found her, but I still don't know what she can do for you.
Do you know anything about mind flayers?
Why are you asking?
Humor my curiosity.
I know they're nasty creatures. Can get in your head and convince you up is down, and that's not all they'll do inside your head. Tell me honestly, are you infected? Is that why you're asking?
You know of them. Can you help me?
I'll do what I can. Come, follow me. I might be able to help. We need to be quick. This way. This one had the same problem as you. Attacked us in the woods together with some goblins. Tadpole crawled out of his head soon after.
Is everyone being captured by mind flayers these days? Didn't think it was a common experience.
Rather too common as of late. At least that's what Master Halcyon suspected. A pity you got me instead of him. He understands these things. Studied them. Still, we have options. All right. Let's see what we can do.
What's that plant? Will it help?
It might. But first things first. Tell me about your symptoms. Have you noticed anything strange happening?
I fell from a ship in the sky, but something caught me. It saved my life.
Protected from on high? Sounds like the drow. Master Halcyon said he was tougher than he had any right to be. How'd you pick up the parasite? Halcyon was desperate to find where all this was happening.
On a mind flayer ship. I was kidnapped and infected.
A mind flayer ship? But Master Halcyon was sure. Look, you've been straight with me, so I'll be straight with you. You're dangerous. If you transform here, we're all dead. But you seem like a good soul. You deserve a chance to save yourself. This is a vial of wyvern poison. Swear to me, you'll swallow it if you feel any symptoms.
I thought you could cure me. What about that branch of yours?
The thorn? coated in a fatal toxin. It was a last resort, in case I couldn't trust you. I don't have a cure. Only a way out. I'm sorry for misleading you, but I had to be sure you weren't a threat before I told you everything. Now, do I have your word or not?
In the Watcher's name, I swear it.
I hope it doesn't come to that, but thank you. Here. You know, I've spent my life treating folk and never once saw a mind flayer infection. Then suddenly, there's dozens of you. Maybe more. Master Halcyon and I were tracking them, studying them, trying to figure out what the hells was going on. Because you should all be changing. There should be a small army of mind flayers out there. But you're not. Weird powers aside, you seem perfectly normal.
You must have learned something from studying them.
For one, that thing in your head is like nothing we've ever seen from mind flayers. It's one of their worms for sure. But this one gives you powers. Telepathic connections. And it doesn't turn you into one of them. Not yet, anyhow.
You said you were tracking other victims. Did they change?
Hard to say, but there's a lot we don't know. Infected, folks like you, have been converging on an old temple of Selûne, and I've no idea why. When Master Halcyon heard the adventurers were heading that way, he saw a chance to get answers, joined on the spot. Whatever he found there, he didn't make it back.
But you think he's still alive?
I think so. I hope so. I've sent birds to find him, but they can't get close without goblins trying to shoot them down. You, though, you're one of them. Technically speaking, I mean. They won't kill someone carrying their parasite. If you can find Halcyon and get him out of there, we can discover what he learned. And perhaps he can save your life. How's that sound?
Oh, are you sure he can cure me?
I can't make any promises. This is like nothing we've seen before. But I know this for sure. Master Halcyon is the only one close to understanding these things. He's your best bet to survive. Otherwise, that vial's your only option.
All right. I'll find Halcyon.
Thank you. It would mean everything to the Grove. To me. I wish I could tell you more. But only those adventurers know what happened out there. All I can say for sure is they all went to the old temple of Selûne. And Master Halcyon didn't make it back. Good luck out there. And if things start to go bad, remember the vial. Remember your oath. Step at a time, Nettie. Come on.
I went to Nettie alone. Quiet feet. Quiet questions. I wanted options, not opinions. And the moment the door closed, she showed me what fear looks like in a healer's hands. A branch in her grip. Poison on its thorns. Not a threat, a contingency. She didn't know what I was. A victim, a carrier, a risk to everyone in this grove. For a heartbeat, I could have pushed. I could have lied. But I held my ground and gave her the only weapon I had. Truth. She watched me, measured me, and slowly, she softened. Then she did something I won't forget. She told me the truth about her cure. Not a cure at all. Just mercy with a sharp edge. She put a vial in my hand. Wyvern toxin. And she made me swear. If the symptoms worsen, if I start to slip, I drink it. That's the kind of promise a commander understands. Ugly. Necessary. And then she gave me the real lead. Halcyon, the master healer. If anyone can cut this parasite out of our fate, it's him. But he went to an old temple, Selune's ground, with others who were infected, and he hasn't returned. So now the path splits in two. Githyanki, purification, or a missing healer in a cursed rune. Neither is clean. Neither is certain. But I trust a healer's hands more than I trust a warrior's ritual. And right now, I'm leaning toward Halcyon. Lae'zel won't like it. She doesn't have to. This isn't about pride. It's about survival.
Just want my bed.
I should be walking straight out of here. Straight to the next crisis. But this place, it's begging to be read. The Enclave keeps its secrets in stone and silence. And right now, the silence is glowing. A rune. Eagle. One of 4 pillars set around this chamber like sentries. And in the center, something lit up like it recognizes me, or what's inside my skull. So I'll slow down. No rushing. No assumptions. I'm going to search every inch of this room. Carefully. Ah, the dead drow. And beside him, a blade. Simple, clean, useful. And that's the problem. Useful things never come without strings. But I don't take it. Not yet. Because if this grove has laws, then it has theft. And I'm not here to become the kind of man who collects from corpses just because no one is watching. Still, Asterion would. And for a rogue, a good dagger isn't luxury. It's survival. So I'll do it my way. I'll point it out. I'll let him decide. If anyone's going to cross that line, it'll be with open eyes. Bottled blooms. Bottled eyes. Bottled tentacles. All lined up on Halcyon's stone desk like trophies. Or warnings. This isn't a healer's table. This is an alchemist's habit. Catalog the world. Preserve it. Dissect it. Understand it. And looking at those jars, I can't tell if Halcyon was searching for a cure or documenting the slow ways a body can fail. And then I see it. A rare specimen, sealed in glass. A mind flayer parasite, hanging in murky slime like a leech in a jar. Gorged, slick, still alive, with remnants of brain fluid clinging to it. So this grove doesn't just fear the tadpole. They've been studying it, preserving it, keeping it close. That's the part that chills me. Not the jar, but the fact it's here at all. We're not the first infected to walk these halls, and we won't be the last. Halcyon trusted Nettie with a circlet, a key to this library, and then the line that matters, the vault. If Nettie needs access, she has to go through Rath. Rath holds the rune, and he doesn't hand it out unless you've got a damn good reason. So that's what these pillars are. Locks, wards, a system. And if the Druids felt the need to seal a vault beneath their healer's library, then whatever's inside isn't meant for the casual eye. I want to see it. I need to see it. But not like this. Not alone. First, I finish my business with Nettie. Then I bring the party back in, and we approach Rath the right way. Sketches of a drow, sketches of an illithid tadpole, and the handwriting, urgent, almost panicked. The parasite was nestled deep in the brain matter, illithid, without doubt. But the host, unaware while alive? No visible signs of ceremorphosis on the corpse. No swelling. No transformation. No time's up. And then the last line, underlined, one word, altered. So what does that mean for us? Because we felt it the moment it went in. We know it's there. We hear it. We fight it. If this drow carried a tadpole and never knew, and never changed, then either the parasite is being restrained, or it's being redesigned. Different stock, different purpose, not a natural infection, a controlled one. That doesn't make me feel better. It makes me feel studied.
Looks like Halcyon's our best bet for a cure.
This is the missing thread. Halcyon wasn't just collecting oddities. He was following a trail, and it led straight to a drow. He writes it plainly. He and Nettie were ambushed in the forest by goblins, led by a drow. They fought. The drow died out there, not on an operating table. And only afterward, when the body was brought back, the parasite revealed itself. A creature emerging from the corpse, trying to escape. That detail matters, because it means the Grove didn't create this problem. They discovered it. And when they did, Halcyon got scared. He tells no one of his fears. Nettie suspects, but knows better than to ask. So what are those fears? That the parasite is altered? That it's spreading? That the Druids are already compromised and don't know it? And then there's Kaga. If Halcyon is worried about giving her answers, then she has influence. Enough that the wrong information in the wrong hands becomes a weapon. Which brings me to the last line, the one that makes my stomach tighten. He's keeping further findings in a separate volume and keeping it on his person. So prying eyes don't jump to the wrong conclusions. So either Halcyon is walking around with the next piece of the cure, or he hid it, locked away, sealed, in a vault. And suddenly those runes in the chamber don't feel like decoration. They feel like a warning. Some knowledge in this grove is considered dangerous. Even here, among runes and locked doors, the grove keeps its little lifelines. Autumn crocus, alchemical stock, 3 of them, and you can brew something useful. Featherfall, a vial that turns a deadly drop into a gentle landing. And in a place with hidden vaults and ancient stonework, that's not nice to have. That's insurance. Of course, the first thing I pull off the shelf isn't a prayer or a herb list. It's a warning. The oral histories of Faerun, Gith, and Mind Flayers. Chapter 4. Baldur the Swift, a 700-year-old wood elf storyteller, out of the wood of sharp teeth. And he swears this isn't myth. He swears it's true. He calls them Illithids, mind flayers, brain eaters, soul wasters. And then the line that turns my blood cold. The children of Gith were bowed, bent into service to the Flayers. For a long time, they were untouchable. No proud will, no passion could break Gith's children free. Until a reckoning. Source unknown. Power unproven. But it happened. And the Gith fought back. Not with mercy, with fury. They won their freedom. And the Flayers were left bent and broken. Till today. So what does that mean for us? Because I walked into Nettie's chamber thinking Halcyon was the best path. A healer. A scholar. A cure earned the honest way. But if this history holds even a grain of truth, then the Githyanki aren't just warriors. They're the one people who've beaten the Illithid before. They might understand the parasite better than any druid ever will. And suddenly Lae'zel's word, purification, doesn't sound like a threat. It sounds like a doctrine, a method, a weapon turned inward. Still, I don't trust stories just because they're written down. And I don't trust the Githyanki just because they hate mind flayers. Lae'zel has fought honorably beside us. Crude, abrasive, but she holds the line. And she needs us as much as we need her. Safer to travel with a party than alone. That's not friendship, that's strategy. So now I'm standing between two doors. Halcyon, the healer who may or may not help, and the Githyanki, who may have the cure, and may have the knife. Either way, this decision just got heavier. I pull a red tablet from the shelf. Disorders of the nerves and mind. A medical compendium. Symptoms. Treatments. The kind of book you read when you're trying to convince yourself this is all explainable. But the case study inside doesn't comfort me. It warns me. A husband wakes screaming, sweating, talking about the mark of chaos. Then he starts calling himself Saravok, starts speaking like a man who's already been replaced, destined for a throne he's never seen. No curse detected, no spirit, no obvious magic, just influence. And when candlelights hit him, he raises a book and declares, "The deaths they bring shall awaken the Father, and through them he will rise." The physician burns the book, black flame. The man blinks, shivers, and forgets everything. Diagnosis: unspecified neurotic enthrallment. Treatment: garlic and drace. So here's the truth. People don't always need a tadpole in their skull to be controlled. Sometimes all it takes is the right whisper, and a mind that can't tell where its own thoughts end. I pick up a tablet called Fringe Philosophy, and it reads like someone arguing with the gods. Netheril, the old empire that made mountains float, cities in the sky, sustained by magic so dense it became architecture. But the page doesn't romanticize it for long. It admits what came after. Their last bastion falling into shadow, their lore twisting toward Shar's darker designs. Shadow and secrets, loss and rune. Funny how Shar always seems to be standing near the wreckage, isn't she? And then there's Gond, the god of craft, invention, creation. The author calls the refusal to study Netheril's work the antithesis of Gond's teachings, as if ignorance is the greater sin. So I think I understand the argument now. Netheril was dangerous, catastrophic, but the wonders were real, and the temptation to learn from them is irresistible. Which puts me in an uncomfortable place, because I came down here looking for a cure, and instead I keep finding the same lesson, written 100 different ways. Knowledge saves, knowledge corrupts, and the line between the two is thinner than anyone wants to admit. The next shelf looks promising, and then it disappoints me the way old libraries sometimes do. 2 more tablets, and both are repeats. The oral histories, Gith and mind Flayers, and Fringe Philosophy. No new answers, just the same 2 themes, staring back at me like twin warnings. The Gith have fought the illithid before, and knowledge, real knowledge, always comes with a cost. A new chamber, a new shelf, and this tablet catches my eye. On death and resurrection. Thin, dusty, but the ideas inside are heavy. It's an excerpt, metatext, Rebound by Josefa Elgin, a scholar cast out of the Church of Denier for chasing lost and hidden knowledge. Of course, the ones who ask the hardest questions rarely stay welcome. She doesn't write like a priest, she writes like an accountant of souls. What value is a life? Not poetry, calculation. She argues that death isn't the end. Souls move on, judged, weighed, sorted. And yes, clerics can call some back if the soul is willing, and if someone has the power and the coin to pay the price. But what struck me most wasn't the theology, it was the tone. She interviews the resurrected and finds them unremarkable, dull, as if the miracle itself didn't make them wiser, only luckier. And then I catch myself thinking of Withers. Same question, same cold delivery. So either this Josefa is echoing something ancient, or Withers has read the same pages I'm holding right now. Either way, it's not comforting, because when a world can raise the dead, the real terror isn't dying, it's who decides you're worth bringing back. And right beside the tablet, a scroll, Charm Person. The kind of magic that doesn't win a fight, it prevents one. Next shelf, Finally, something practical. Magic of the Weave. An introduction. A beginner's book, but it still hits like a revelation. It describes the weave as the unseen threads running through everything the raw material magic is woven from. Not magic itself, the fabric that makes magic possible. And it draws a hard line between types of spellcasters. Wizards, learned, trained, years of discipline to manipulate those threads with intent. Sorcerers, born with it, a natural connection, power in the blood. Warlocks, borrowed power, a bargain with something otherworldly. And here's the part that sticks in my mind for sorcerers and warlocks. The magic can be unpredictable, uncontrolled, and sometimes not even theirs. That's a sobering thought, because if power can come from outside you, then so can influence. And right now, with something living in our heads, I'm not sure any of us can afford unpredictable. As I leave this chamber, I catch it out of the corner of my eye, a mound of loose earth. The kind that doesn't happen by accident. It looks placed, like it's begging to be dug up. And of course, I didn't bring a shovel. Asterion has one. So consider this a lesson. From now on, I carry my own tools. Because in places like this, the smallest oversight becomes the biggest delay. Still, I can't shake the other thought. Halcyon's notes, the circlet, Rath holding the rune. These stone pillars aren't decoration, they're a mechanism. A lock built into the bones of the library. And if I'm right, the vault isn't opened with force. It's opened with understanding. We'll come back to this, with a shovel, and with the right key. All right, last chamber. I've cleared the shelves one by one, and then I see it. Soul coins, a treatise. Now that gets my attention, because I'm already carrying soul coins, and until this moment they've been nothing but weight and mystery. This tablet doesn't dance around it. It says these coins aren't just currency. They're souls, bound into infernal iron and traded in Avernus, the first plane of the 9 hells. Mercenaries, magical items, fuel for engines in the hells. If that's true, then what I'm holding isn't treasure. It's a warning. All right, let's read. Okay, so this confirms what I was afraid of. Soul coins aren't just currency. They're souls, pressed into infernal iron and spent like loose change in Avernus. And if devils use them as money, then devils will hunt them like money. Always. Because every coin you pocket, you're carrying something every fiend in the 9 hells understands. Leverage. Now, this line here. A half-elf warlock promised his soul to a coin after death. Why would anyone sign that? Simple. Nobody sells their soul for nothing. He traded away his afterlife for something he wanted right now. Power, protection, revenge, a cure, a way out. Maybe he was dying. Maybe he was desperate. Maybe he thought he could outsmart hell. But hell doesn't gamble. Hell invests. And this is the part that chills me. These contracts don't just buy a soul. They buy time, influence, access. A devil doesn't need your soul today if they can own it tomorrow and use you in the meantime. So who was this half-elf warlock? Not a hero, not a fool. A man backed into a corner who decided the corner was safer than the open road. And if soul coins are common enough to fuel engines in the hells, then they're not rare artifacts. They're an industry, which means there are people, mortals, feeding that industry. So, if I'm holding these coins, I'm not holding loot. I'm holding evidence. And sooner or later, something is going to come looking for it.
A tidy slot, but no rune.
I've circled these pillars long enough. Elk, bear, eagle, and one socket left hungry and empty. Halcyon's notes weren't a warning. They were a map. And now I'm standing at the lock. If Rath holds the rune, then this place has been waiting for someone to assemble the key. And that's the part that bothers me. Because vaults don't exist to protect treasure. They exist to imprison problems. So I won't force it tonight. Not alone. Not blind. I'll bring Asterion and the others. His hands are lighter than mine, and his instincts are sharper. Next time, we stop reading about secrets, and we start opening them.